Hello and welcome to another Best Junglers episode, this one for patch 14.9. This is the Lee Sin rework patch, the Vanguard patch, and the intermediate patch between now and the big mid-season changes. Now where we have nerfs to Evelynn, we have nerfs to Skarner, we have changes to the jungle meta, we finally have nerfs to Master Yi's true damage. Is that enough to shake up the meta just a little bit before we go into all of the itemization reworks? And obviously when Riot changed the jungle and they changed the champions, you need to have your fundamentals locked down, and the best way for that is to head to Virkayu.gg. Not only do I have a free jungle improvement resource, I also have a dedicated program with jungle video courses, jungle coaching classes, a jungle VOD library, special weekly content you'll see nowhere else, as well as all of this hosted in a private jungle Discord. And if there is one thing I'm good at, it's making junglers go from low elo to high elo, as seen by the great number of success stories from the end of last season and already the beginning of season 14. So to climb faster than everybody you know and to jungle diff every game you play, head to Virkayu.gg or click the link in the description below. Okay, so we have Lee Sin atop. Now listen up. Lee Sin has a bug with his Q2 doing significantly more damage than it's meant to. There's a synergy there with the Eclipse itemization, so be aware if you do not want to face a champion pick 25% of the time with a bug doing significantly more damage on his Q2, just ban it. However, what we can say is the animations and this rework is some of the best work we've seen in terms of Riot updating champions to the modern game. However, I did see some noise saying, well, he needs more than that. He needs to be able to keep up with the modern champions. I mean, come on, his kit hasn't aged a day. It's absolutely phenomenal. It is still the best kit for jungling in the game and has always been since its release. That means with these new fluid animations, with these changes to runes and items coming the next patch, and with this bug, he's without a doubt the best jungler in the game. Now, when they do hotfix this, and I hope they do, his win rate will go down. However, don't let that distract you from the fact that the champion is still insanely well-rounded and still relies entirely on your skill issue. He can do the ganks, the full clears, the invades, the win conditions, the disengage kicks, the engage kicks. He's got great itemization, great sustain. He has absolutely everything to thrive in Season 14. And yes, of course, I'm happy I got to remove Viego from the top spot, even though a lot of people don't necessarily agree. You have to go from at it. It's not pure data. It's also about what you see when you're coaching. When I'm scouting high elo, when I coach someone in gold and diamond and master, you see the variety and how the one consistent champion that performs at every level is Viego, that does everything from a jungle fundamental standpoint to allow you to carry games. And his itemization is absolutely cracked. Now, with the Death's Dance changes and the Maw of Mortius changes, maybe you're thinking that you shouldn't go for the Sterix Gauge third. That would be incorrect. The item is still absolutely great. I was a little bit wrong on that. I thought maybe the cooldown reduction nerf, the increase in the cost, maybe with the buffs to Death's Dance and more, we might like a different angle. However, it seems that nothing's changed. Yeah, the Sundered Sky got nerfed, doesn't matter. Sterix Gauge got nerfed, doesn't matter. We still like Crack and Rush. And if you do need to go more, if you do want to go Death's Dance, you have those options available to you. Outside of Lee Sin, he's the most complete jungler you could have for a solo queue environment. Much like Skarner, whose nerfs, as I said in my patch note rundown in the private Discord, hey, I've played this champion, I love the scalings, I love the tank vibe, but they didn't undo the damage buffs that they gave the Q. Yeah, they nerfed the W a little bit, and I honestly think that's fine. Yeah, they nerfed some other things that impact all the top laner and jungle players. However, as you can see from the data, yes, he's not broken now at 53-54% win rate, but he's still insanely strong. However, he's not going to be free wins like he has been. You still need to understand how to play a tank fighter champion, you need to understand how to stack your CC properly, and you just can't get away with running at people's faces, which is always something we want to nerf. Skarner though, exquisite in the jungle, fighter tank, build that hard steel, build grasp and aftershock, use HP scalings, and when next patch drops with Warmarks at 1000 HP, and you've got these extra bruiser items coming in with nice HP conversions to damage, Skarner might be a little bit stronger again. Look, I know it, you know it, Riot Freak says they know it, Rek'Sai is borderline OP, but no one plays her and no one complains about it. That's interesting because I'm gonna slap her up fourth here and tell you guys, go play Rek'Sai. Quadrants, ganks, tempo, pressure, in the lanes, make the enemy junglers wither at the threat of your might. There's no reason why you can't dominate every game and win with Rek'Sai. Now, if you don't understand how to use the grubs, the dragons, and push the map at 15 to 20, yeah, you're gonna have some issues, obviously, you have to close the game. However, with the update to her kit, and the nature of her HP regen and the new scalings they gave her, she's able to withstand late game significantly better than before. AoE knockups tend to have that effect. We still have Stridebreaker for better clears and utility, attack speed scaling on our Q now. We have the Sterix, we have the Black Cleaver. She is absolutely primed for LP game. I want to see more people playing this champion. I played her on release, I used her and Warwick in Ornn jungle to get master the first time, long ass time ago. So you have a champion here that enables climbing. Use it. Following this, we have Diana. Her data is looking a little not so good, but so is a lot of champions on this list because Lee Sin has played 25% of the time, he's broken with a glitch and a bug, and he's good anyway, which means they're affecting all of the win rates to everyone else because everyone is facing Lee Sin all the time. But again, don't let it distract you from the fact that this is a farming, map controlling, split pushing, one tapping machine when it comes to the meta at this time. She enables so much in terms of itemization versatility. You got Nashes, you got Lichbane, you got Deathcap, you got Trip Bloom, you've got different ways you can go, you got Zhonya's. And the most important thing about this is the playstyle. Full clear, gank either side of those clears, make sure you're controlling objectives, counter gank where you can, and honestly, play smooth, play relaxed, don't be stressed, don't force dragons, don't force scuttlecrabs, don't force fights. Get your econ per minute up, your experience, your gold, get your itemization, and now no one can deal with you in a split push, and now no one can deal with you in the backline. Win. The destruction of Balvreth has been greatly exaggerated. Champion is fine, because a champion will always be fine. As I said in the past rundowns again, I do think that these nerfs were important, however they gave her compensation buffs. So while you remove a little bit of AD ratio and early game damage, you give scaling, which means Snowball is still there and now she gets even stronger. I do think the compensation buffs on the damage to monsters was too much. Sometimes the champion is so broken, you just need to nerf it. And this season, right, have been way too over the top with compensation buffs. And that's why we've had these problems where you have champions in the meta, in the patch notes, patch after patch, because they keep giving them something back. No, sometimes just nerf it, see where it lands, and if you need to give buffs in the next patch, you can do that. Balvreth, still good. Next up is Kha'Zix. Again, his win rate is down, his play rate is still good. The Lee Sin doesn't really always help, as I said. The Sejuani's also strong, we'll talk about that later. But Kha'Zix is, while definitely, fringe S A tier at this particular stage, I feel like a good Kha'Zix is still able to adapt and overcome. I still feel like a good Kha'Zix is able to dominate where he's meant to. And again, that always comes down to pressure points. If I need to relax and farm a bit, I can do that. If I need to invade and counter gank and be more aggressive, I can do that as well. Assassin players, the good ones, always understand when to get their gold, when to get their experience, and when to actually show. You never want to force things as a Kha'Zix, let the game come to you. Relax, my friends, you will scale, you will kill ADCs, your time will come. Finally, we have the Shaco, and honestly, this is a champion that's rising in the win rates, rising in popularity. His AD builds and AP builds are going to pop off, and we have the new AP itemization coming next patch as well, which is what I'm really referring to. Essentially, I like what I'm seeing when I face Shacos. I like what I'm seeing when I'm coaching Shacos. I like what I see when I analyze top-level Shacos against other meta junglers. The champion, again, like Kha'Zix, understands these pressure points, and yeah, you're not going to scale in those team fights like everybody else, but your power curve, if you know how to use it, is so insanely exponential that you can easily take care of games yourself. He is the definition of a solo carry 1v9 jungler, and he can do that right now. All right, let's do a little shimmy over to the A tier page. Here we have Kayn. While Kayn is still good, and I still believe, it's easily in the capabilities of any pilot that uses champion to get to high elo, and obviously to challenger, it does require a little bit more finesse than maybe we've had recently. Sterak's nerfs do affect us, at least in terms of Ras, and obviously the profane nerf still rings true in the pain of the souls of the blue. However, at the end of the day, you're still Kayn. Get form, become 2 champions in 1, carry games. If you think too much about balance changes as Kayn, you're not playing the champion correctly. It's always about the itemizations, right? The runes and the items that you want to go, but the champion will always have a way to maximize things. All you gotta do is like a Formula 1 engine, remap a few things, and you'll be just as strong as before. And this goes the same for Evelynn here. I'm sticking her in here even though win rate data did drop quite a bit because I've played a hell of a lot of Evelynn. Most of you know from the original days, I made the first guide on the rework. And everyone was freaking out about these nerfs a few months ago, and everyone who Nahilo played Evelynn said, I'm still overkilling you. I still know how to actually snowball so that I will continue to output the same damage, and I'll still win. And ultimately, that's true now. The slow shift in the nerf, yeah, that's going to affect those fringe cases. That damage reduction in the ultimate, yeah, okay, that's going to affect certain cases. That just means there's a little bit more counterplay and survivability. However, most good Evelyns will be able to adapt and learn these new thresholds very, very quickly, and you'll carry on winning. Next up, we have Talia. Yes, she was also nerfed, which is why I've brought her down a few tiers, but at the same time, it's still Talia. Yeah, her full clear goes down a little bit, a decent amount. Back in the day when she was first a jungler, we weren't full clearing. You were 4 camping, 3 camping into action. Pressure, snowballing, and scaling with insane stats. That scaling with insane stats is still there. So while you can't maybe AFK farm and get away with doing nothing, a good Talia wasn't doing that anyway. We were sequencing, but we were still dominating the snowball. And when you do that, you carry games. Echo's another one much like this. People think, oh, the champion's weak. I just had 2 coaching sessions this week with an Echo against us. Both of them made great plays. One of them lost and one of them didn't. But it was entirely because of their decisions when it came down to mid and late game teamfighting. The jungler against him was counter-ganked by the Echo 2 or 3 times in both sessions, 2 completely different players, because that's what Echo does. He is an insanely powerful opportunistic jungler. He will take over games with a few freebies that he gets provided the player knows, again, how to use grabs, dragons, push turrets, and not, go and chill in his jungle and farm. The Echo that lost, that's what he did. He was fed, his team was not. So as an Echo, please understand, you are good. Don't run away from it. Embrace your power, my friends. Go and win games. Stop complaining about your champion and just say, hey, I play an eternally good champion. Cool, it's on me to get better, to climb. Much like Kindred, but everyone knows Kindred is strong, although Kindred's presence is a little bit lower than it has been. Most high elo or skillful junglers are still banning this champion. They just don't want to see it. The oppressive nature from the invades, when they get a few marks, when they get a few kills, that ranged component to slow the execute, the ultimate, it's just so difficult to face for so many melee junglers, so they're just like, you know what? Not going to deal with it. I'm going to carry on and enjoy my life. And if you're a Kindred player, you understand why. Because that's why you play this champion, to exactly be the bully that everybody hates. Next up, we have Yarvin IV, a passive bump to him. Obviously, he's good for clearance, good for damage, it's good for utility. It's really good to watch when you're bored and you want to go to sleep because, oh look, he EQ'd again and got free assist. Oh look, he ulted someone. Oh look, Jarvan. Oh look, it's Vi. That's right, the nerfs to Eclipse and Sundered Sky. Look, those items with her made her really obnoxious, let's not lie. And because she needs less econ than most of the junglers on this list, she can get away with just pressing R and doing damage on 2 items. However, the nerfs to all 3 of her co-itemization choices have affected her win rate. I still believe though that the champion provides insane amounts of presence and utility from the jungle position. It is a lot weaker than before, but a good Vi wasn't really worried about 1v9ing like a Kindred anyway, right? You're worried about making the right plays and pointing and clicking the right target. And finally, Sejuani is back. I know pro play watchers, don't always enjoy seeing this champion, but as an original solo queue player that enjoys Sejuani, I know a lot of people that like playing this champion as a tank. It's good to see her back. And again, with a buff to resistances, with a buff to the damage. Obviously, nerf to the early game base damage, right? So she's less oppressive in that regard. But as you buy itemization to get HP, with the buffs to her passive and the buffs to her scaling, as you get into that, should I build Warmugs next patch? What can I actually buy? 1000 HP on that sucker, by the way. Will I be able to go back to the Sejuani of old without having any too oppressive nature and pro play that I'm always picked and banned? Because she won't be as strong with that damage. Really interesting changes. I love the direction, and I think this patch and next patch is going to be really interesting to see if she climbs higher than this, or if she just maintains that, hey, I'm one of the best tank solo queue champions to play. Look, Bri keeps getting nerfed as we head over to the low elo page, but she's still great for this elo. She's still going to climb you out. The champion design is ultimately an absolute failure. She's just another Warwick style, a Mumu style. If she's strong in high elo, she's broken in low. And that's exactly what we've got. We've lost her in the higher elo Diamond Plus phase, dominates still in low elo and mid MMRs. So if you like this champion, keep playing it. I love the Nocturne at the moment. Honestly, looking pretty damn good. The Stride Breaker, the Hexblade, these are working well. Yeah, we've got Axiom Arcs and Black Cleavers, but that's only for this patch. Next patch, Lethal Tempo goes away, and he might go back to being absolutely trash. But the data in low elo is looking absolutely insane, even if he's not that great in the general player base. Love the Diana, the Jax, again, huge with 6 grubs, control those things, split push, you win games. Warwick, Lilia, Ramus, and Amumu, always dominating this elo range. Again, it allows you to focus on fundamentals, become a better jungler. You can learn more complicated champions in gold and up, but this will allow you to really get to grips with the role in a better way, different win conditions, macros, split pushing, team fighting, controlling, sequencing, ganking. These champions cover everything. If you do it properly, you will be gold. Now, as we head to the high elo page, I've decided to make a few changes to what I actually had originally. Obviously, Lee Sin, Viego, obviously. However, Kha'Zix is still the 3rd most played champion when you consider even high elo play rates across the world. However, while he has presence in high elo and he's definitely damn good, I think the Rek'Sai is, lower play rate and it should be higher. I feel like she has such a bigger win rate, a huge ability to control high elo games, and people should play it more. Graves is great in high elo at the moment with those changes. Obviously, with the new itemization, it should be even stronger. Nidalee, Kindred, yes. And while I could go ahead and decide, listen, let's put that Bel'Veth in high elo, she's still good, which she is, I do feel Skarner provides that oomph, which is necessary for the win condition support you might actually require in this elo range. And obviously, Tilia is still absolutely great with a 6% pick rate and a 52% win rate. I mean, you can't go wrong with this champion. Things like Karthus still perform well. Diana is utility. Jarvan doesn't perform well in this elo range at all, actually, interestingly, in terms of win rates. There's a lot of champions, obviously, you can use here that dominate pro play, that dominate high elo scrims, that dominate high elo solo queue. Depends on the server, but these are the ones with some of the highest presence that I see most frequently, able to carry and control games. And with that, those are your best junglers for 14.9. And if you're looking for how you must jungle after the 6-minute grub changes, click on these 2 videos. One or the other will get you what you need.